Seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. That's right. Weight loss seminar today at the American Lodge and Suites in Fergus Falls Conference Center. Starts at 5:30. Registration begins at 5. Stop smoking seminar starts at 8. Registration at 7:30.
KBRF presents Where to Eat, the culinary adventure sponsored by Dandelion and Burdock and Service Food in Fergus Falls.
Hi, I'm Zach Daniels.
And I'm Dave Bishop, your guide to the region's culinary treasures.
Join us as we explore various restaurants, uncover delicious meals, and highlight each restaurant's signature dish.
Experience diverse cuisine types, unique atmospheres, and must-try dishes. Check it out on KBRFradio.com and the Fergus Now app.
New episodes air every first Friday of the month. Where to Eat, powered by Dandelion and Burdock and Service Food of Fergus Falls.
It's Morning Talk on News Talk 1250 KBRF, brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. Now, here's Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop.
Good Tuesday morning. Welcome to the snowpocalypse.
So upset I didn't even have my microphone on. This does not look good.
No.
There's already been a few flakes flying. And I think you and I hoping that this was going to be a three-peat of the snow that they said was coming that never would come. I think we are,
Well, they say third time's a charm.
I guess so. So it looks like it's going to be winter again.
4
for
to
a
10
bit.
inches.
Oh, yuck. But if this makes you feel any better, look at the 10-day forecast. If you look forward to mid and end of next week, if you can look that far, it gets pretty warm.
And it looks decent after tomorrow.
Right, yeah. Thursday, Friday.
we're back in the 50s.
So no big deal.
Do a quick run on the snowblower. Let
Right.
nature take the rest.
Yeah, and we'll just say that this will likely be the last time you pull out the snowblower.
Knock on wood.
I know. Boy, we've had some storms late in
Ooh.
April. I know the year that John and I got married, there was a storm on Thursday, and the guys played golf Saturday morning. So, I mean, we got inches and inches of snow on Thursday, and by Saturday morning, they were playing golf again. So, if that gives you any indication. But I do remember one April 28th where I went to Fargo, and John called me and said, "You got to get back. We were already at the lake. You got to get back. You got to get back." And I said, "What for? The sun is shining here." And he said, "Not shining here. Get your butt home." And so I'm thinking, what does he know, right? So I start driving home, and I called him and said, kind of nah. I'm driving 70 miles an hour, clear, dry roads, no big deal. Got to Barnesville, and the curtain was drawn, and I was in a major snowstorm. And then I had to get off on County Road 34, which takes me across over to the cabin. And thankfully, there was a set of tracks out ahead of me, or I would never have known where to drive. So I do remember that, and it snowed so heavily. I think we got about 18 inches. And we were snowed into the cabin, couldn't even force the door open. So that happened on April 28th.
Yeah.
So there you go. I guess don't put the snowblower away too soon is what I'm
No.
probably saying here.
And I think everybody's sitting there going, come on, be an April Fool's joke.
I know.
Be an April
Could this?
Fool's
Oh,
joke."
I'm
No.
so glad you said that. So everybody, it is April Fool's Day. And I am the most gullible person in the world. And I have been taken for a ride on so many April 1st. And I'm so glad you reminded me that this was April
Yeah.
Fool's Day because now I can be on my guard.
I stopped doing April Fool's jokes a while back. I mean, obviously, I don't do any on the air because you can get in big trouble
You
if you do
can,
it
you can.
incorrectly.
Yeah, you can.
There are so many rules you have to follow if you do something on the air. And I remember talking to Charlie Camp one time. We're like, "What do you guys do for April Fools?" He goes, "Due to the litigation and liability, don't
do anything. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of Charlie Campa, I remember one of his April Fool's gags on me. My phone back at my desk, he took mustard and he took the the earpiece and the mouthpiece off and filled it with the worst smelling mustard I'd ever. And every time I put it up to my ear, I thought, "What is that terrible smell?" And I couldn't see it. But oh my goodness, and this went on all day. And finally I said, I'm not answering the phone anymore. I'm staying away from the phone. And then of course they had to give up the ghost because I was
But that was off the air.
that was off the air.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever I mean I've gotten caught in some major gigs. Craig Olson
Yeah, I was gonna
is
say
one of those
I've
guys.
done a lot of stuff off the air, not on April 1st, but
I one time, this used to happen a lot more than it does now because we're live. Our receptionist, if let's say we had a major announcement or there was a who knows a water main break or some kind of school announcement or something, and I could hear the door just behind me open, and I would just reach back like to grab a piece of paper that had the note that I was to read on the air. And I did that one time, and it was a sticky trap with a live mouse on it.
that's just wrong.
Yeah. So I have been, and that was a shriek on the air like no one's ever heard. And if you heard it that day, you likely remember it. That was a long time ago. But anyway, we've had some gigs on the air. But I'm glad you're one of those guys who doesn't do them on the air. Thank you for that. But just a reminder, be on your guard today. I'll probably forget by the time I drive out of here.
We got Zach last week. He was over on Real Rock Z103, and it was Chuck Alma and I in the hallway, and I could hear Zach talking on the radio, and I was like, "Hey, Chuck, whatever I say, just agree, no matter how stupid it sounds." He goes,
Okay.
"Okay." So Zach gets done, with a little talk set. I open the door. I'm like, "Zach, come on, man, you had to have known." He goes, "What?" I'm like, "In honor of Michael Jackson's passing, the band Toto changed their name to Tito." And he goes, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's now Tito, not Toto."
Oh,
Chuck
boy.
pops his head and goes, "You didn't know that?
Oh my goodness.
How long have you worked here?" And Zach's like, "What? What?" And then I couldn't keep it up. I started laughing.
Well, you totally could have gotten me on that one. Yeah. Oh boy. Well, anyway, you're probably going to get April fooled today, so be careful. And maybe we've gotten into this habit of not believing anything
You
we
can't
hear or
believe
read
anything.
anyway. So maybe being a conspiracy theorist will, be to my benefit today.
But that 4 to 10 inches I was talking about, it's real.
That's for real.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Well, we have the women's lineup in the Final Four. UConn is going to take on UCLA, and South Carolina versus Texas when they play in the Final Four this coming weekend. So, or maybe do they play Sunday?
I don't know when they play.
They might. I think they play either Sunday or Monday, and then their
I get the camera
they're-
on you so I can just flip.
Okay, so
my
their
screen around.
final is on Tuesday. Men's final is on Monday for the championship, and the women's final would be on Tuesday. I believe the women usually have their games a day behind the men, so maybe they don't play Final Four until Sunday, I think. Or maybe it's Monday. Big men's games on. I don't know how it goes. I've lost track. There's so many basketball games; it's hard to keep track. But anyway,
Here's the schedule for the ladies. So they play Thursday.
Oh.
And wait, no, that's April 3rd, April
Oh.
4th.
so they play
Wait, it's like give me like the full.
April 4th is Friday.
Yeah.
So they play to get down to 2 teams to go to the championship, and then their championship will be Tuesday.
They're giving me all the junk. It looks like
Oh.
Friday, Texas. Looks like they play Friday, and then. Oh man, it's so stupid. It's got like the practice schedule and everything. It's
boy.
like I don't need that.
I don't need the practice
It
schedule.
looks like they play Friday and Sunday.
Oh, Friday and Sunday. So their final
That's-
is on Sunday,
Yep.
and the men's final Monday. Okay.
Yep. So they men probably play Saturday, Monday.
Saturday, Monday.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
That's
Well,
like the daily schedule. Well, when they've got the banquet, when they gates open for the
Oh,
semifinals,
gee
I'm like, just tell me this.
I
when
know.
they
Yeah, we just
play.
yeah. Well, anyway, Paige Beckers, I'm sure you've heard her name a fair amount. She plays for UConn. She's been their standout, and she has just played lights out basketball during this tournament. Had I think 31 last night. So anyway, I kind of like UConn. It's really fun to watch her play.
I hate their coach.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think
I remember when
so.
they went on that run of like 3 straight undefeated championships. He was whining, lamenting that this would be a bigger deal if I played or if I coached the boys. And I'm like, man, you're the
Oh,
girls'
I don't
coach.
like to hear
Just
that.
you be happy. I mean, your team's
Yeah.
dominating. You can't do any better than you've done 3 straight undefeated
Well,
seasons.
yeah,
Be happy.
UConn has been pretty
But
strong, both men and
he was
women.
just whiny and just,
Oh,
oh, it was
I'm
awful.
sorry to hear that.
So
I've always kind of liked him.
I kind of went, you know what? I'm done with that guy.
Yeah. All right. Well, Tesla CEO, I wondered how long it would take. Elon Musk has admitted that his involvement with the Trump administration Department of Government Efficiency, we all have heard the word Doge
Doge.
quite a few times, it's really hurting Tesla's stock. No kidding. Amid public backlash and protests against Doge's action, Musk described his advisory role as a very expensive job. So,
Good time to
but
buy it. Buy stock.
yeah, and it would be a good time to buy it because it
It's down.
it is down, and it probably will come back. Now, doesn't Elon Musk say he's in there for 130 days and then his job will be done, and he's going to go back to work at Tesla and X and all the other stuff he's doing? Um, anyway, they have made some shocking discoveries in the last few months. And Democrats are facing some of their worst nightmares because Elon he's very bright. There's no getting around
Oh,
him.
yeah.
And he is revealing some of their dirty tricks. He spoke at a town hall in Wisconsin, and I believe that vote is today
For the Supreme Court, yes.
for the Supreme Court. And so he was in Wisconsin supporting a Republican candidate for Supreme Court who could be critical in determining whether the GOP continues to narrowly control the House of Representatives. Currently, a liberal court is likely to redraw the swing states' districts to favor Democrats, costing GOP some seats. So that's what they're worried about. But Musk also discussed some of the shocking discoveries made by his Doge team as they sifted through the federal bureaucracy. Perhaps the most galling was that 5.5 million people who entered the U.S. illegally during Joe Biden's presidency were issued Social Security numbers, making them eligible for various government programs. According to Doge, a colleague, 1.3 million of that population were found to be receiving Medicaid benefits. He reported that all the default systems in the Social Security Administration had been set to maximum inclusion
Whoa.
and maximum pay for all these illegal people. 1.3 million were set that way. So Doge investigators were stunned by this discovery and puzzled that Biden would allow such abuses of our American safety nets. Then they found that many of the undocumented immigrants had been illegally registered to vote and that many did, in fact, vote in the 2024 election.
I'm not surprised.
Not surprised at all. Anyway, Musk concludes Biden was not asleep at the switch. This was a massive, large scale program to import as many illegals as possible to ultimately change the voting map of the United States, disenfranchise the American people, and make it a permanent deep blue one party state. So, anyway, they have uncovered some things, of course, that a lot of people wish they wouldn't uncover. And there are a few people, Liz Cheney being one, she might be shaking in her boots a little bit because she's been behind some of the skullduggery. Severe weather, we are not the only people who are looking for weather. They've already had severe weather in the Midwest, leaving hundreds of thousands without power and additional threats along the East Coast. So it's really widespread. The storm brought powerful wind gusts, hail, tornadoes, resulting in at least 5 fatalities, including 3 children in Michigan and 2 people in Indiana. Severe weather will continue in the East Coast regions, and it's just kind of moving up the coast as it goes through. So it's already caused a lot of damage, and it looks like it may continue. S&P 500 dropped over 4.5% in the first quarter of 2025, with the NASDAQ plummeting as well, and the Dow Jones settling 1.3% lower. President Trump's upcoming tariffs further fueled market uncertainty. The Magnificent Seven tech stocks lost $2 trillion collectively, making the worst quarterly performance since mid-2022. That comes from those numbers from NBC News.
Again, somebody's got to go in Trump's inner circle and say the reason why we were elected was to get the financial stuff figured out. You were supposed to be the financial guru. or at least your team. And this is some of your policies, including some of these extra tariffs, are not helping.
Well, they're not helping now. And
The Republicans might not be in office when they
I
help.
totally agree. I feel like this is, I mean, I like wide sweeping, work that takes care of fraud and
Oh, yeah.
puts, and
I,
gets
I'm not.
rid of all the
I'm not talking about the
ridiculousness.
fraud. I'm talking about some of the other stuff that
But
he's working
yeah,
on.
I mean, there are some things that are going to hurt for maybe a little too long, and that is going to make a difference
Year and a half
to voters.
next round.
It might make a difference to voters who are voting in
Today.
these special elections. And typically special elections don't get very many voters. But did you see he had a congressman from Florida, I believe, and she was going to be in his cabinet somewhere. I think she was going to be um, a diplomat of some kind. Anyway, pulled that back because didn't want to move her out of Florida because if they had to fill that with somebody else, they would likely lose that seat, and he wasn't willing to do that. So
Yeah, it wasn't just lose that seat. It's
like
just
an ambassador or something. I think
she was going to be an ambassador. I forgot what it was. But yeah, you're right. And he, rescinded that because not only were they worried about the seat, it also would make things super tight in the House until all these other elections go through.
Right. And I mean, I hope if you and I are looking down the road and worried about the midterm elections or special elections coming up here soon, I would hope that the Republican Party is worried about that too and would say, "Wow, let's tap the brakes just a little."
We got common sense. We're not in the Beltway.
I guess. I
It's
don't know how
it's a special breed in there. It really is.
Well, and I don't know. It's a special breed that doesn't really have to worry about the price of things too.
Exactly.
And I'm sure they've thought of that too, but and it's hard not to see what's going on and not feel the pain. And I think there are some things that we're really going to feel pain on.
Yeah.
Phones and electronics and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's and they told us it's going to hurt for a bit, and it might be a bit longer than a lot of people want to be hurt. But I don't know. Every day I turn on the news, I think, oh boy.
It's like, what's going to happen now?
I know. Okay, when we come back, there's a guy who actually called 911 on himself. I'll tell you why. More people are micro-retiring. What is that? I'll tell you about that too when we come back on Morning Talk.
Back with more Morning Talk with Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop. Brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. After the markets on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Depend on it. Keeping you company out on the lakes. The Minnesota Twins and News Talk 1250 AM KBRF. Depend on it.
Hey, it's Chris Atterbury. Twins seeking their first win of the year under the lights in Chicago tonight. Simeon Woods-Richardson gets the ball opposite rookie Shane Smith as the White Sox starter still yet to give up an earned run this year. 6 o'clock lineup card, 6:40 first pitch on your home for Twins baseball.
News Talk 1250 AM KBRF. Depend on it.
Hey there, local farmers. Tired of the hassle of processing and butchering your livestock? They've got you covered at Lake Cabin Meat and Deli Company, your trusted partner in meat processing. From custom cuts to expert butchering, they handle it all with care and precision. Whether it's beef, pork, or lamb, they deliver a quality you can count on. Serving Fergus Falls and the Lakes area, they're proud to support local farmers just like you. Call them today at Lake Cabin Meat and Deli Company, where quality meets tradition.
Previously on the Under the Hood Show. When I was a kid, I had a chance to get a chemistry set.
I got
Only
the
I'd have
chemistry
known.
set, and I started experimenting with the baking soda and the vinegar thing, and how cool that was. And, of course, I had to overdo it like I do everything. And I got it on a little bigger level, and I got in a lot of trouble, and we had to buy new carpet for the living room. It was not good.
You should listen to the Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show with the Motor Medics right here, KBRF, 1250 AM, every Saturday at 10 a.m.
With its increased efficiency and lower fuel costs, ag producers know that propane is better for their bottom line. And now, participating in the Propane Farm Research Program can impact your bottom line. Share your propane equipment performance data, and you can receive compensation like up to $5,000 towards towable generators and generators for backup power, and up to $2,000 for propane building heat systems. To take advantage of all the ways propane is better for your bottom line, start your application today at propane.com/PFRP.
Find out why the markets are moving. Get in-depth ag information with the Red River Farm Network on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Depend on it.
Good morning. Market update on the Red River Farm Network. I'm Randy Conan. Grain markets moving higher here, led by the soybean complex. We are 7 to 10 higher there, 4 to 5 higher in the corn, 5 to 6 higher in the wheat complex. Agmarket.net analyst Jacob Burks says renewed buying interest seems to be supporting these grains here this morning.
I think that you had a couple things going. I mean, you had Friday in the grains. First, start with corn market, and then Friday we saw a key reversal come in here. I think the markets were poised to be friendly. Then the report came in and didn't do a lot of damage, I guess. Let's just say it that way. I feel like the corn market was a big number, but man, we expected a big number. Look at what we had done to the market here for the last 2 weeks. We pushed that down there and finally found some support. And it's just a little bit of follow through coming in. The other thing you had going on yesterday too, end of a month, end of a quarter. I think that there's just some selling going into that time frame. And I feel like, there's some available money right now, and it's coming into the grain market.
And the livestock market's quietly firmer here this morning.
You came in, looking at that last week, having the highs that we saw in the cash market, really pushed everything higher one more time. It feels like it's steadied out a little bit. We've had a couple of days lower here, but we're still up here at the top side of this range in both fast and the feeder cattle. It was kind of unique last week that we didn't see feeders lead the way. We saw the fat cattle lead the way, and now you're starting to get steady here. You're starting to settle out. I think that I have a lot more risk. I feel like going into the pre-Easter trade, and I think that's kind of what we're starting to see here. So we're starting to see some stagnant versus an even market.
You're listening to the Red River Farm Network. Here's the latest from CHS Ag Services. CHS Ag Services Badger location sales agronomist Briar Klopp is with us. Briar, let's talk seed treatments for the small grains. What do we need to know?
I guess we run Artec F&I up in Badger. It's a fungicide, insecticide treatment just for looking at any fungal pathogens that we're looking at, or any wireworm or any insects that we want to try to prevent those early emerging seedlings from getting taken by. So
it's a good insurance policy.
Exactly. No, I guess some benefits of seed treatments are crucial for crop success as they protect seed and young plants from, just pests, early diseases. They enhance germination, help with overall vigor when they're not stressed by pathogens or insects, which, in turn turns into overall yield.
For more information or to get your seed treatment book, contact your local CHS Ag Services sales agronomist. CHS Ag Services, providing solutions for your success.
Farm Rescue makes sure that you aren't alone. They're there to extend the hand and to take the burden.
Even the most independent farmers need help sometimes, and asking for that help is protecting the future. Farm Rescue provides equipment and volunteers free of charge to assist in times of crisis. We're currently accepting applications for planting and haying assistance. If you or someone you know could use our help, call 701-252-2017 or visit farmrescue.org today.
The Red River Farm Network is reporting on the happenings in Bismarck with the North Dakota Legislative Report. Each Friday morning at 6:37, you'll hear from lawmakers and ag leaders. This special coverage made possible by NDFB, Ag Country Farm Credit Services, North Dakota Grain Growers Association, Northern Pulse Growers Association, North Dakota Farmers Union, and the North Dakota Corn Growers Association. The North Dakota Legislative Report, Fridays on the Red River Farm Network.
May wheat Minneapolis, 6 1/4 higher, 5.98 1/4. Chicago May wheat's up 3.5 at 540.5. Kansas City May wheat 4.25 higher at 561.25. May corn 4 higher, 461.25. December corn's up 4 at 446. May soybeans 10.5 higher, 1025.25. November soybeans 8.25 higher, 1027.5. May canola in Winnipeg 880 a metric ton higher. April live cattle now 35 cents lower, 207.45. June's down 10 cents. April feeder cattle 50 cents higher at 286.95. May 55 cents higher. April lean hogs 5 cents higher, 87.77. May up 15 cents. Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 392 points, 41,608. This is the Red River Farm Network.
Today on Hot Talk with the Ox right away, well, do Pete Hegseth and Mike Waltz still have jobs? And Tariff Day is approaching. Hear how the world is reacting. Canadians are vacationing someplace other than the U.S. now. Hear what that's costing us. At 4:06, hear the West Side Liquor Wine Line with Jeff Anderson, and then hear fellow Ox listeners' Wines of the Week. See you for Hot Talk with the Ox today from 2 to 5 on KBRF.
What's the Ox say?
Hi, it's Steve Mann. Have you heard the commercials for the Mark Patrick Stop Smoking seminars? And they said only $49.99 and it could work for you. So I thought, that's not even a week's worth of smoking. So I went. And guess what? It did work for me. You know, my friends and family are still amazed. I quit smoking. I didn't have cravings, anxiety, or weight gain. Listen, I don't know how it works, but I know it works because I'm living proof and it's 100% guaranteed. So what do you got to lose? I'll tell you what you got to lose. A very bad habit.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking now without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Only $49.99 guaranteed. Hypnosis designed to work without anxiety, irritability, or weight gain. Become a non-smoker guaranteed. That's right. The seminar is today at the American Lodge and Suites in Fergus Falls Conference Center. Stop smoking seminar at 8, registration at 7:30. Weight loss seminar at 5:30, registration at 5. Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking now without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back.
Community is important, and you'll find it at Pioneer Point. Spacious apartments, thoughtfully designed for older adults, provide the best in senior living. Heated parking and elevator access makes life easy. Your neighbors at Pioneer Point hold a welcoming, family-like approach to living. Choosing from an array of special features and options, you'll find many ways to define your lifestyle at Pioneer Point. Call or schedule your tour online today at pioneercare.org.
Keeping you company out on the lakes. The Minnesota Twins and News Talk 1250 AM KBRF. Depend on it.
Hey, it's Chris Atterbury. Twins seeking their first win of the year under the lights in Chicago tonight. Simeon Woods Richardson gets the ball opposite rookie Shane Smith as the White Sox starter still yet to give up an earned run this year. 6 o'clock lineup card, 6:40 first pitch on your home for Twins baseball.
News Talk 1250 AM KBRF. Depend on it.
Newstalk 1250 KBRF. Listen anytime, any place with the Fergus Now app on your phone. Looking at today, a little bit of light rain kind of right now, but it's going to turn to snow. We do have that winter storm warning in effect from 1 o'clock this afternoon till 7 o'clock tomorrow. Looking at about 4 to 5 inches today, 3 to 4 inches tonight, and 3 to 4 inches tomorrow. So yeah, we're looking at a fair amount of snow. Unfortunately, that is not an April Fool's. Right now, a little bit of light rain, 34. Winds of the southeast at 15, gusting 21. This is News Talk 1250 KBRF. And a reminder for the latest weather cancellations, postponements, and announcements. Head over to kbrfradio.com. And then you can also find them on the Fergus Now app. Speaking of the Fergus Now app, if you want to actually watch today's show, you can head on over to kbrfradio.com. Click under the podcast section or on the Fergus Now app as well. Just click on the Morning Talk banner and well, enjoy seeing us live and in person.
I was trying to find, I just ran across a really good recipe. Well, what looks like a good recipe. And it's little like chunks of steak that you marinate in a variety of things. And then they go in the crock pot.
Oh, nice.
For 4 to 5 hours. They look really good. Crock pot steak bites. But now, of course,
can't find them anymore.
Well, I can find them, but everything is different on Facebook these days. All that AI stuff shows up at the bottom. I hate that. and sometimes you can't get to a recipe. Oh, here it is. Okay. So they say 2 pounds of sirloin steak cut into bite-sized cubes, some soy sauce, beef broth, Worcestershire sauce, uh, garlic, onion powder, smoked paprika, black pepper, and then you top it all with pats of butter. So of course that's got to be good. And you just cut the steak, and it's raw, of course, and you pat it dry, and then you mix the marinade and whisk together the soy sauce, beef broth, Worcestershire sauce, garlic, onion powder, paprika, and black pepper. Mix that all together, and you toss the meat in that and throw it in the crock pot.
Nice.
And then you dot it with butter on the top, 4 to 5 hours on low, 2 to 3 hours on high. I think it sounds really good.
Yeah.
I think I'll send this to me
And
if I knew how.
I just screenshot Facebook recipes. That's how I get them.
Yeah, I guess I can do that. I can't do it I could do 2 screenshots, I suppose.
And while you're doing that, I want to do a big shout out and thank you to the Fergus Falls VFW doing a great job last night with the Humane Society fundraiser. A big turnout.
Oh, good. I'm glad
And
to
so
hear
yeah,
that.
it was out the door.
I'm glad it was last night and not the
Yeah.
next, like tonight or tomorrow night, because the weather would have played a role. So that's great. And
Great
yesterday
turnout.
turned out to be a beautiful day.
We'll
Yeah.
have Chris Cannon, the executive director, on next
Be
Monday.
fun to hear what they raised.
Yeah, he said he won't know all the details. He won't have all the numbers until next week. So I know.
And of course, their hope is to build.
Yep. When I talked to him earlier, he said he was hoping that this would put them over, and they should be able to start this summer.
Because if you've ever been into the Humane Society, it's a pretty small place
Yeah.
for a lot of animals, and they do such a good job there that, boy,
Yeah.
that'd be great if they could finally start that build. Okay, so we're going to talk about the guy who called 911 on himself in just a minute. But did you see that there is a big tree that is going to go down on the White House lawn? Now, this is rumored to have been planted by Andrew Jackson himself, and it's going to be coming down. The tree is often seen in photos of the White House, and a new tree will be planted in its place. But President Donald Trump said on Truth Social that the tree is unfortunately in terrible condition and does pose as a safety hazard. But I like this idea. They're going to keep the wood, and they're going to preserve that wood so it can be used for something else, so they can say,
Oh, okay.
this is the tree that Andrew Jackson planted in whatever year.
They make a chair or something out of it.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I like that. A post from the National Park Service explains that according to folklore, Jackson planted the tree to honor his late wife, Rachel, who died in 1829. However, the tree begins to appear in White House photos in the 1860s, which suggests that it could have been planted later. So they don't really know for sure, but just in case it was planted at the hands of Andrew Jackson, they're going to make sure they do something cool with it. So I like that story.
Yeah.
All right. So we hear a lot about stupid criminal stories. This
I
may be
love them
one.
dumb criminals.
Yeah. So this guy is from Texas. His name is Jeremiah Magellan, and he called the police for help during the middle of an alleged robbery. Police reports tell us that he allegedly cut himself on glass while he was the guy who was breaking into Patterson Dodge dealership in Tyler on March 26th. Tyler police say that he called them around 3:35 a.m. because he was unable to leave the way he came in. He said he had broken into the Patterson Dodge dealership in an attempt to steal a car, but was unable to get out of the building. Public Information Officer Andy Urbaugh said he was treated at a local hospital and then sent to Smith County Jail. Staff member at the dealership reported that the only thing missing was candy from a salesperson's desk. So all that,
That's
a
a
cut
rock.
hand, jail, and you got nothing to show for it.
That's a
except
rock star.
handful of candy. So he actually had to call 911 for help because he broke in and couldn't get out. Hotel California. You can check in. You can never leave. Okay. Have you ever heard of micro retiring?
I don't know what that would be. I'd like to try it, but I'm always away.
Yeah, well, it says instead of working for 40 years and then enjoying your golden years, more and more adults are taking micro retirements. The term was first coined in 2007 and describes taking a career pause before your retirement age. These sabbatical, you could call it, I guess, or a career break, allows workers to develop hobbies and complete trainings to further their careers. While sabbaticals are sponsored by the workplace themselves, more and more Gen Zers are instead terminating their employment in order to take this time off. Well, who dares do that?
That's maybe not the sharpest tack in the bat.
Yeah. Unfortunately, micro retiring comes with risks. Employment breaks can impact future earnings and, of course, personal savings too. And do you get the job back? How many employers would say, okay, why don't you just take 6 months off? Or, yes, you be gone for a year. We'll hang on to this job for you. They can't do that,
No.
you know? So, yeah, do you want to retire for a short time and then go back to it? Ooh, I think that for me, I retirement holds zero appeal to me, and I am at this age being asked more and more often, "When are you going to retire? Or are you still working?" And I feel so old every time somebody says,
Are you still
You're
working?
still working?" I'm like, really? It's not like I'm 100 years old, you know?
I mean, it's not like you're doing heavy lifting. I mean, you're
No.
just sitting here having a conversation with me.
That's what I say. That is my answer. When I am paid to drink coffee and visit with Dave in the morning, I mean, who wouldn't keep doing that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody loves coffee.
I know. And Dave. Yeah, so who would give up this gig? So anyway, all right. You have, oh boy, I am one of these people. I'll see if you are. There are a bunch of um, young Americans that they're actually taking this to the next step. They're they're scheduling what they call worry time.
Worry time.
Are you a worrier?
Oh, yeah.
I never used to be. Um, but I have become, and I just some days I feel so heavy thinking, and then I have to think about, okay, really, what are you worried about? And then when I pick it apart, I think, oh, for heaven's sakes, what am I worried about that for? But I worry, and I feel like one crisis is averted and the next one, then I'm like, oh, and then I feel like, oh dear. And it's usually something I shouldn't be worried about or I can't control. But I found the older I get, the more that I worry. So I don't know if that's just me or anyway, I don't like it. But anyway, 1 in 10 young adults actually schedule worry time during the day.
If you're scheduling it, you're not worried about it.
Maybe not. Those who do set aside time to fret says the practice reduces the time they spend worrying after all. So you give yourself a slot. This is the only time of day you can worry. Well, I don't care what you say. I say this to John all the time. I said, oh, for heaven's sakes, don't worry about it. And he'll say, if you could just tell me, don't worry, and I could say, okay,
Okay.
I won't worry, that would be great. But you can say, don't worry, all you want,
Just gonna make you worry
and
more.
I still worry. Yeah, and I don't think you can just shut that off.
No.
Anyway,
And if you can schedule time to worry about it, it's something you don't need to worry about.
I guess, unfortunately, 47% of those people of all ages believe that they are in a constant state of worry. And I hate to admit that, but some days I kind of feel like that. And again, when I take a good hard look at what's weighing on me, it's usually ridiculous to worry about it.
Usually, if I'm gonna go a long time with worrying, it's traveling. I do not travel well.
Do you know,
I vacation well once we're there
me too,
and
me
once we're
too.
home, but
But
two
I
there, oh,
I
I'm
would
a
agree.
wreck.
I am a little on edge when I travel. Not so much because I'm scared of the travel itself. It's the,
Missing a
missing a
flight.
flight. You don't want, having car trouble on the way to the airport, can't find a parking place. Will they have my ticket? Blah, blah,
What's the
blah.
weather?
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. I've got 2 trips coming up, and I've had bumps in the road. Um, for the first one, they lost my flight completely,
Oh, wow.
and thankfully,
That's coming
one
up.
day I had decided, I should look at that app. I was looking for the time, of the flight in the arrival so I could rent the car and set the times for my rental. And I could not find the trip anywhere. It was gone. And I went to my email and I looked for, all of my email confirmations, and there had been a couple of time changes, and everything was just vaporized. And I called the airline and said, "Hey, I don't even have a confirmation number because everything's gone. I can't find it anywhere." And I was on the phone with her for a long time. And finally she said, I don't think I can help you. I don't know how to find because you don't have any information to give me. And I didn't except my name and, my Sky Miles account. Anyway, turned out I have a really good friend who works for the airline, and I reached out, and in 10 minutes, he had it all uncovered and figured out. And I got an email that said, "Oh, here's your itinerary." But I don't know if I went to had that friend, would I be flying this week? I don't
I
know.
don't know.
But it's that kind of stuff that makes me crazy.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to change our return flight because the airline had changed it. And then that ended up giving us like a 4-hour layover in Minneapolis on the way home. That's the last thing I want to do. But I'm always so scared to go in and change that because I feel like, what if I muck this whole thing up?
Especially a 4-hour layover in Minneapolis when the drive home is 3 hours.
I know, it's just awful. So anyway, back to the same friend who saved the day again for me yesterday and changed that flight, and now it's only a little over an hour. So, but it's things like that
Yeah.
that and everything has to be done online. You call, and rarely do you get to speak to a person. And you're trying to change things, and it doesn't go well. And then I'm always worried there I am, worried again,
Mhm.
worried that I'm gonna muck it up, and my car's not gonna be waiting for me, or the details on the place we're renting haven't come in time. It's stuff like that.
The
So travel is worrisome. I agree.
the one thing that we ran into a snag last time we were down in Florida, we were renting a car, and Jen forgot to mention to her credit card that we were traveling, and it wouldn't let it go through.
Oh, okay.
And so they're like, no.
Well, do you know, I always book my vehicle with American Express, and they tell you that you don't have to alert them to travel.
Yeah.
They will figure it out. If you all of a sudden you see a whole bunch of charges in Florida, they know you're traveling. But I don't think it ever hurts to reach out to them
Yeah,
and
and then
tell them.
I
That's a good
I
idea.
used mine, and I'm like, yeah, my credit cards don't care.
Same thing with if you bank locally, same
Mhm.
thing with your bank or whoever you bank with. Let the bank know that you might
Yep.
be using your debit or credit card out of town for a week or so. I think that's a great
I
reminder.
was in Jamaica, and my credit card companies didn't care.
Yeah, I know, I know.
They're
But
like,
I
ah.
remember being we went on a girls' trip to New York, and the very first time I used my card, it was denied. And I'm
Yeah.
like, are you kidding me? And it took a long time, and they were very careful about going through previous charges, and I had to okay each and every one of those, and I had to every time I used it after that, I had to okay the charge. It was kind of a nightmare. But thank you. You just put one more thing on my to-do list.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that.
Little FYI.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. But I'm not going to schedule worry time. It comes to me just automatically.
It's natural.
Yeah, it's natural. Okay. Should you take one of those cold plunges?
You
Is
mean like
that
a polar plunge?
Yeah, or some people just dunk their face in ice cold water in the morning.
Oh, okay. This is kind of like one ice baths.
Kinda, yeah. Anyway, they asked 10 people to submerge themselves in 57-degree water for an hour once a week.
Oh no.
Oh,
That
I
that's
couldn't
a
stick I
big
couldn't
bucket of
stick
no.
my foot in there. Cold exposure might help prevent diseases and potentially even slow down aging
Because you're gonna die of hypothermia first.
at a cellular level. The good news, a freezing ice bath is not necessary for those cells to shift into repair and protect mode. So you don't have to do that. Gradually exposing oneself to cold water through swimming, showers, or other methods could be, potentially okay for you.
Or
kind
live
of
in
good for you.
Minnesota.
Yeah, exactly. All we have to do is step outside.
Yep.
Right? I think that's probably true. But there are a lot of people, they dunk their faces in cold water in the
Yeah, I've heard
morning.
of that.
I don't know what good that does you except wake you up, maybe. I don't know.
I'm not going to do that.
No, me neither. Yeah. Let's see what else we have for you. Dubai chocolate. Are you familiar with that? It's known to be filled with a crunchy filling.
I have bought chocolate, so I do buy it.
Yeah. Oh, total dad joke. Dubai chocolate. Yeah, I do buy it. Oh my goodness.
Dubai or not Dubai.
See, why would I retire when I get that kind of stuff to,
I can see a lot of people going, I can't deal with this. I can't.
I love it. Okay, well, anyway, Dubai cookies. This is Dubai, by the way. Filled with chocolate pistachios. Ooh, that sounds good. Have been featured on accounts like Well Made by Kylie. If you want to make them yourself, you can start with regular chocolate chip cookie dough and stuff the dough with a mix of pistachio cream or butter.
Yeah, but if you make them, you're not Dubaiing them.
That's right. You're exactly right. Some cookie fans describe, and they also have katafi. I don't know what that is, as having a texture similar to a Kit Kat bar. So I guess you can crush a Kit Kat bar and add it to your.
I think katafi might be coffee toffee.
I don't know what that is. But they said it's like a Kit Kat bar. So I don't know.
There you go.
So they say move over Dubai chocolate. And now I'll never be able to look at Dubai chocolate, but think of your
really bad
your
joke.
really bad joke. Yeah. All right. And I was gonna find. Oh, we don't have time.
We got
for-
about 60 seconds.
Okay. Well, then I'll skip the trivia. I might hang on to this one for you tomorrow.
Oh,
We'll
we can do
see.
trivia.
Do you think?
Yeah, it's 30 seconds.
Okay, I'll just do one. How many neck bones does the human body have?
9. Or no, 7.
Why do you know that?
Because the stupid thing that the humans and giraffes have the same amount of neck bones.
No kidding.
Yep. And it's 7.
Wow.
That's how I knew it.
Theirs are a little further apart.
Well, they're a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But it's one of those stupid little trivia things.
There he goes. Wow. Smartest guy I know, and I get to be on the air with him each and every day. Oh, boy.
And you don't even have to buy anything.
I don't have to buy anything. Oh, my goodness. Let's get out of here. That's going to wrap it up, thankfully for you. Our show today and every day is brought to us by Pioneer Care and by Fergus Falls Monument Company. Have a great day.